للثواب بمنك وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي واجب يا رحيم دعوتي وأقل يا غفور أسرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها وهموم قد كشفتها وأسرة قد أقلتها ورحمة قد نشرتها وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مزاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده الباسط بالجود يده الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيد كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير ما حاجة بي إليه عزيمة وغناك عنه قديم وهو عندي كثير وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إنا عفوك عن ذنبي وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي وصفحك عن ظلمي وسترك على قبيح عملي وحلمك عن كثير جرمي عندما كان من خطاي وعمدي أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من إجابتك. فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستانسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني أتبت بالجهل عليك ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أرى مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لعيم منك علي. يا رب إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك وتتحبب إلي فتبغض إليك وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك كأن لي تتول عليك فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي وتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد له بفضل إحسانك إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته والحمد لله على طول عناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق خالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعائد له ولا شبيه يشاكله ولا زهير يعازده قهر بعزته الأعزاء متواضع لعظمته العظماء فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا عاصيه ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازيه. فكم من موهبة حنية قد أعطاني وعزيمة مخوفة قد كفاني وبهجة مونقة قد آراني وبلية موبقة قد رعاني فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائله ولا يخيب عامله الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويزع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وأمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله الحمد لله يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك اللهم صل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين وصل على سبطي الرحمة بإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيد الشباب أهل الجنة وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله مكن له دينه الذي ارتزيته له أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا اللهم أعزه وأعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا وجله من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملناه وما قصرنا عنه فبلغناه اللهم المم به شاسنا واشب به صدعنا وارتق به فتقنا وكسر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا واغن به عائلنا واقض به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به أسرنا وبيز به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنج به تلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وآتنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا وآتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المؤتين اشف به صدورنا واذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك توجله وبزر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to tonight's program. Condolences on the martyrdom commemoration of our first Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. We will begin tonight's program with the recitation of the Holy Quran. Would Brother Iman Kashfipur please come up? Salawat.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, tonight I'll be reciting from Surah Rum, Ayah 30. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فأقم وجهك للدين حنيفا فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك دين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون منيبين إليه واتقوه وأقيموا الصلاة ولا تكونوا من المشركين من الذين فرقوا دينهم وكانوا شيعا كل حزب بما لديهم فرحون
وإذا مس الناس ضر دعوا ربهم منيبين إليه ثم إذا أذاقهم منه رحمة إذا فريق منهم بربهم يشركون ليكفروا بما آتيناهم فتمتعوا فسوف تعلمون أم أنزلنا عليهم سلطانا فهو يتكلم بما كانوا به يشركون وإذا أذقنا الناس رحمة فرحوا بها وإن تصبهم سيئة بما قدمت أيديهم إذا هم يقنطون أولم يروا أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون فآت ذا القربى حقه والمسكين وابن السبيل ذلك خير للذين يريدون وجه الله أولئك هم المفلحون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most kind. Then set your face upright for religion in the right state, the nature made by Allah in which He has made men. There is no altering of Allah's creation. That is the right religion, but most people do not know. Turning to Him and be careful of your duty to Him and keep up prayer and be not of the polytheists. Of those who divided their religion and became seas, every sect rejoicing in what they had with them. And when harm afflicts men, they call upon their Lord, turning to Him. Then when He makes them taste of mercy from Him, lo, some of them begin to associate others with their Lord, so as to be ungrateful for which we have given them. But enjoy yourselves for a while, for you shall soon come to know. Or we have sent upon them an authority so that it speaks of that which they associate with Him. And when we make people taste of mercy, they rejoice in it. And if an evil befalls them for which their hands have already wrought, they are in despair. Do they not see that Allah makes ample provision for whom He pleases or straightens? Most surely there are signs in this for people who believe. Then give to the near of kin his due, and to the needy and the wayfarer. This is best for those who desire Allah's pleasure, and these it is who are successful. Salawat ala Muhammad.
Thank you for that beautiful recitation, Brother Iman. I would now like to call up Brother Muhammad Ibrahim for salam after salawat.
Salawat. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. I hear the munajat of Ali from the dawning sunrise. I wonder why he weeps so much this 19th morning and cries. Why the blood-red colors in the skies this 19th morning? Why are all the birds and all the beasts restless and mourning? Why such strong winds and why trees swaying as if to break dead? It seems this day the world's to end. I shudder and clutch my head. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Mawla walks on towards the Masjid where he knows what's to come. I hear him ask repentance and patience in a deep hum. I know not why, but I want to try to stop him going. But he smiles at me and tells me his pain is waiting. Sorrow overcomes me as he steps inside the masjid. The trees and beasts all weep with me from all around and surround. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Mawla wakes Muljim up, who hides a poisoned sword beneath him. Think you not Ali knows not who is to slash at and kill him? Ali listens to his last adhan and gets up to lead, and the angels start to weep as Ali prepares to bleed. Muljim comes from behind and strikes the hand of Ali in sajda, and I collapse as Ali shouts, Pusto Rabbil Kaaba. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. I pass an orphan weeping who has seen my kindly father. I pass a widow weeping, I have lost my kindly helper. I pass a leper weeping, where is gone my kindly nurser? I pass a beggar weeping, have you seen my kindly feeder? Then I pass by Mawla Ali's home, and weeping I see Ya Ali, the Father, Helper, Nurser, Divine Mercy. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Salawat.
Another loud salawat for that touching recitation. And now, without further ado, I would like to invite our dear scholar for his lecture. I'd like to present Hujjatul Islam Sayyid Sulayman Hassan Abadi after loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين شفيع المذنبين وحبيب قلوب الصادقين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى قيام يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you know, tonight is the night of the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salam, our first Imam, and the heir and successor of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wa. When we think of the role of Ahlul Bayt in our lives, one of the first verses that comes to our mind is a message that was given by Allah to the Prophet, and that the Prophet delivered to the people, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. That, O people, I don't ask any reward from you or any compensation for all of the struggle and the effort of preaching and conveying Islam, which our Prophet, he devoted his entire existence to, and he sacrificed not just his life, but also the lives of those who were nearest and most dear to him for the sake of this religion. The Prophet is told by Allah to tell the people, La as'alukum alayhi ajra. I'm not asking anything from you. Illa al-mawaddata fil qurba. Now it's a very beautiful thing in the Quran that the compensation that is sought is not obedience but love. And maybe that raises a question in somebody's mind, that why did Allah not say obedience to Ahlul Bayt, when in reality our obligation is not just to love them, our obligation is to follow them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows best the full wisdom of His words. The Quran is a miracle, but maybe one part of that miracle is that when we speak of obedience, then it might shift the focus of the person on the person who is being obeyed. So if I say, for example, obey your boss, then that seems like it is a benefit that is coming to that person who has the right of obedience over others. And it might raise a question in some people's mind that did the Prophet want to give a benefit to his family? Did the Prophet convey Islam for his own benefit or for the benefit of his family? Because these were the accusations that certainly the enemies of the Prophet made, and maybe even some of the Muslims, they may have been at risk for believing that accusation. But when we speak of love, love puts the focus on the spiritual state and the emotional state of the person whose heart and soul are filled with love. And so the attention is drawn not to what you are doing for the person that you are obeying, but rather how you are changing by the love that you are developing within yourself. And the reality, مَا سَأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ, whatever reward the Prophet asks of the believers, it isn't for the Prophet. فَهُوَ لَكُمْ. The Quran says that when the Prophet asks us for ajr and for a reward for his preaching, who is the beneficiary of that ajr? Who is the beneficiary of that reward? The beneficiary, فَهُوَ لَكُمْ. It is for you and not for the Prophet. In other words, it is as if the Prophet is saying that I went through all of this hardship and all of this sacrifice for your sake, and the only thing that I ask for you is to be good to yourselves, is to give a benefit to yourselves. And that is possible because the Quran, it uses a word that is focusing on the effect that the person who shows love will receive. Maybe that is one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to phrase this verse in this way, that I ask nothing from you إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Show love. So think about how you are to be affected by your relationship with Ahlul Bayt. And another benefit of the focus on love is that it reminds us that obedience is only desirable if it comes from within and not from the outside. There are many times when you obey, but you obey because of some external fear. You know how sometimes people are driving several miles above the permitted speed limit, and then they see a police car hiding in the distance, and all of a sudden, they put their brakes on. So they are obeying the law, or at least they are going to start obeying the law so long as they think they are at risk of getting caught. But that is an obedience that comes from the outside. It is ita'ah, but it is ita'ah that comes from the outside. And therefore, it only has a temporary benefit for a person. It does have a benefit. So if I obey God for external reasons, I still get the benefit. If I fast, or I pray, or I avoid haram acts because of my social group, the external environment is influencing me and helping me to do what is right. If I obey my Imam because everybody else is doing it, so do I get a benefit? I get a benefit. But it is a very limited benefit because I, to use the example of the driver, I am not a safe driver. It's just that for this short period of time, maybe for that half mile when I think that there is a police car hiding somewhere or following me or an unmarked car in the vicinity, then I will be safe. And during that period, there is less likelihood that I will be involved in a collision. But then after that, I might still be at risk. But when that view of a police car or that view of somebody getting a ticket, when that reminds me of the importance of being safe, And therefore, I put away my phone if it is a distraction. I concentrate more on my driving. I make a commitment that no, I'm going to be careful, not because there is somebody there to catch me, but because I should be a safe and a responsible driver on my own. Then the benefit will not just be for that short time, but the benefit will last so long as I am driving. So the same thing is true. You can have ita'ah, which comes on the outside, and it will give you a benefit. If you avoid alcohol, then you will avoid all of the harms that come to your health and your relationships and your wealth due to the curse of drinking. You will benefit. But if you don't do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is a superficial benefit and it is a temporary benefit, and you may be susceptible to that same harm at some point in the future. But if you know within yourself that this is an evil act, and that desire not to consume alcohol, it comes from within you, not because you're embarrassed or because you are worried about what other people will say, then you will still get the health benefits, you will get the economic benefits, you will get the benefit in your relationship, but it will stay with you. So, لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. One reason for this may be that Allah wants the focus to be on the effect that comes inside of us, rather than just the action that we do. And the other is because Allah is speaking also of the nature of spiritual progress that has to come from within. It has to come from love. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that the way that we honor our Prophet and the way that we can repay our Prophet is to develop a love for Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. If that love is true, then of course we will also obey them and we will follow them. But it will not just be obedience to Imam Ali, it will be obedience that is rooted in becoming a different person, becoming a person who is desirous of resembling Imam Ali, a person who is filled with affection for Imam Ali and wants to live our life like Imam Ali alayhi salam lived his life. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, how can we live our life like Imam Ali? How can we develop a love for Imam Ali? The Quran says that the only way that you are going to honor the Prophet and you are going to repay the Prophet is to develop a love for the near ones of the Prophet. So how can you develop a love? There are some people, the only way that you can love them is not to get too close. You know how they say that if you have a favorite restaurant, it'll remain your favorite restaurant so long as you don't see what goes on behind the curtain. If you've worked in the kitchen, then you may not have that same appreciation. It doesn't work for every restaurant, but probably for the majority of them. If you stay at a distance, then that hero is worthy of admiration. But if you come and you see their private life and their personal relationships, then your admiration, it may decrease. It may even come to an end altogether. So there are some people that the way that you preserve your affection is you see the food that comes to you and you eat it and you enjoy it. You see the persona that is given to you on the media and you admire that person, but you don't get too close. Ahlul Bayt are the exact opposite. And they are the only role models and the only heroes in all of humanity that your love will only increase the closer you come to them. If there is one thing to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, it is that He has given us role models and He has given us heroes that we don't need to censor and change and only look at one part of their history or their teachings or their lives, but everything about them is beautiful. Everything about them is a reflection of the values and the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the more you know them, the more you will love them, the closer you will become to them. So the way that you develop love of Imam Ali is to get to know Imam Ali. Now, how do you get to know Imam Ali? You get to know Imam Ali through his prayers. Because Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was, yes, a hero of the battlefield, and yes, a ruler of the Muslim world for the last 4 years and some months of his life. And yes, he was many other things, but the essence of Imam Ali and the true soul of Imam Ali, it comes in his dua and in his prayer, in his ibadah. And that is why those who were the recipients of the secrets of Imam Ali, Ashab al-Sir, they were the ones who heard and who transmitted the du'as of Imam Ali. So we have just a few minutes. Let us look at a few of the du'as of Imam Ali and what we learn from them. One du'a is based on a hadith. So first I will explain the hadith very briefly. It's familiar to all of us, but just as a reminder of the ideals and the character of Imam Ali. And then there is a du'a that Imam Ali is reported to have recited, a munajat that is based on this hadith. Hadith is found in the section on the short sayings of Nahj al-Balagha. So there is a section in Nahj al-Balagha with the sermons of Imam Ali, then there is a section of the writings of Imam Ali, his letters, and then there is a section on his words or his short sayings or his aphorisms. In this section, the Imam says, "Inna qawman abadullaha raghbah." Some people worshipped Allah, desiring the bounty and the favor of Allah. Fatilka ibadatul tujjar. That is the worship of people who are in business with God. I want heaven, so Allah, how much worship do I need to do? How many juz of Quran do I need to recite? How many prayers do I need to do to get that reward? Is this a bad thing? Well, the Quran does describe the relationship of a believer with Allah as embarking on a transaction. So to be in a transaction with Allah, that will not be a failure. It will bring you a benefit. It will bring you the reward that you are seeking. But then Imam Ali, he says that there is a better way to connect to Allah. If you worship Allah seeking His reward, you are not doing anything wrong. It's not polytheism. But it isn't the highest level of recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Imam says, وَإِنَّ قَوْمًا عَبَدُوا اللَّهَ رَهْبًا. Some people, they worship Allah out of fear. فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَةُ الْعَبِيدِ. That is the worship of those who are slaves. They're always afraid of being punished. Whether it be literal slavery that existed at many periods in human history, or any other kind of a relationship where somebody has a demand on me and I'm afraid that they are going to punish me. They're going to withhold something from me. So then I might do what I need to do, not because I want to, not because it is enjoyable, but because I want to avoid that punishment. فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَةُ الْعَبِيدِ. That is the worship of a slave. This too is not anything wrong. If you worship Allah fleeing His punishment, then you are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will get the benefit. The reason for that is that there is a difference between the reward that comes from Allah and the reward that comes from a person. If I give you a reward, the reward is something other than me. So if you do it for me, that is one thing, and if you do it for the reward, that is another thing. If you do it for the reward, if I say, do this for me, I'll give you a free phone, then I can say that you're not doing it sincerely because the free phone is not me. The punishment is not me. But the difference is that with Allah, His punishment is His mercy. His punishment is His justice. His reward is His mercy. So it is not separate from Himself. It is still tawheed and it is still sincere. But then Imam Ali says that there is a higher recognition of your Lord. And that is وَإِنَّ قَوْمًا عَبَدُوا اللَّهَ شُكْرًا. They worship Allah out of gratitude. They recognize that Allah has given them everything that they have. فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَةُ الْأَحْرَارِ. That is the worship of honorable people and free people. This is also then worded by Imam Ali in a munajat. And the point that I want to make is that if you want to understand your beliefs as a Muslim, then the best way to rectify our beliefs and our doctrine, it isn't necessarily to go and study theology in a formal setting. Within the du'as of Ahlul Bayt, you find a combination of theology and of doctrine and of akhlaq and all that you need to know and think about as a believer. So this hadith, Imam Ali, he words it in munajat, Ilahi ma abadtuka khawfan min iqabik. Oh Allah, I am not going to worship you because I fear your punishment. وَلَا رَغْبَةً فِي ثَوَابِكَ. Nor am I going to worship you because I want your reward. وَلَكِنْ وَجَدْتُكَ أَهْلًا لِلْعِبَادَةِ. But rather I found you worthy of worship. And because you are worthy, I will worship you. So this is one of the du'as that is a statement of the values of Imam Ali. One other dua of Imam Ali, إلهي كفى بي عزا أن أكون لك عبدا وكفى بي فخرا أن تكون لي ربا. O Allah, it is a sufficient honor for me that I am a servant of yours. We look for strength and honor, and generally we look for honor and strength in external things. My position, my power, my influence, my popularity. And if we have those things, we feel like we are on top of the world. And if we don't have those things, then we feel like we are nobody. But Imam Ali says, Ilahi kafa bi izzan an akuna laka abda. For me to be a servant, that is the greatest honor. Wa kafa bi fakhra an takuna li rabba. And then, O Allah, you are my Lord. Therefore, that is all of the dignity, all of the pride that I need. I don't need anything other than for myself to be a servant and for you to be a Lord. And then the last part of this dua, Anta kama uhib. O Allah, you are perfect. Therefore, you are exactly as I want you to be. Faj'alni kama tuhib. So make me like you wish me to be. Or in another narration, Anta kama uhib. O Allah, you are exactly as I would want you to be. فَوَفِّقْنِي لِمَا تُحِبْ. Give me the tawfiq to do what it is that you like. These were the words of prayer, and this was the life of Imam Ali, a life lived according to the values and to the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is because Imam Ali lived his life like that. When he was struck by Ibn Muljam with that poisoned sword, the first words out of the lips of Imam Ali were, Fustu bi Rabbil Kaaba. I have achieved success. You cannot say that, and you cannot express those words if you haven't lived your entire life as an abd, as a devotee, a worshipper, a lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because those were not the lips of Imam Ali speaking. That was the entire existence of Imam Ali speaking. That, oh Allah, what I devoted my life to, what I gave my existence to, now I have finally attained it. It is narrated that on the eve before his martyrdom, Imam Ali used to say time and time again, Allahumma barik lana fil maut. Allahumma barik lana fi liqa'ik. Oh Allah, give me blessings in my death. "O Allah, give me blessing in my meeting you." And it is narrated that because he was in the house of Kulthum heard those words, and she said that, "O Father, are you telling me that you are going to leave this world? Are you going to bid farewell to us? Are you going to take your leave of us? Who will be there for us?" And Imam Ali said that, "Oh my daughter, Kulthum, there is an appointed time for everyone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has decreed for me what is best. I saw my beloved, the Messenger of Allah, in a vision last night, and he has told me that it is time for me to be reunited with him." Kulthum, she began to weep, and she sent for her brother Hassan. She said that, "Oh my brother Hassan, our father has been in a very different state on this night. He is going towards the Masjid. I asked him to stay at my home, but he said that he must go forward. Oh my brother Hassan, go with Imam Ali." Imam Hassan went with Imam Ali, and he was standing next to Imam Ali when the Imam was struck on his head. Ibn Muljam's blow landed on the head of Imam Ali. Imam Hassan wanted to rush to the side of the Imam, but the Imam said, "It is time for Fajr prayer. Oh my son, from now you are to be the Imam of the Muslims. You are to lead them in prayer." Imam Ali led the Fajr prayer. He came immediately. Imam Hassan led the Fajr prayer. He came immediately back to the side of Imam Ali. He lifted him in his arms and brought him back to the house. Just for a few more hours, Imam Ali was alive. During that time, he bid his final instructions to his family, and then he told his two sons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, "When I have died, then you will lift my funeral bier from the back, and you will find that my janazah will proceed on its own. You will not need to lift it." Allah sent his two most beloved angels, Jibreel and Mikael, down from the heavens, and the body of Imam Ali, it was led to a grave that had been prepared for him outside of Kufa. Why did Imam Ali need to be buried in secret? Why was the Imam of the Muslims not able to be buried in public? It was because Imam Ali knew that after him Muawiyah would rule. After him for 100 years, the name of Imam Ali would be forbidden to be mentioned. And so it was decreed by Allah that just as Fatimatu Zahra was buried in the darkness of the night in secret, Imam Ali also was to be buried in the darkness of the night in secret. Only Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein and Jibreel and Mikael were there to bury Imam Ali. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
This earth has become orphan. This earth has become orphan. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan. This earth has become orphan. Zainab, from your head the shade of Ali taken. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan. Today the oceans weep and the wind wails. The sky has fallen and the ground turns pale. On this day, even the strongest mountains shaken. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan. Today they silent the peak of eloquence. Today has tested the peak of patience. Today Abbas, the mighty lion, is broken. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan. On this day, without you, this earth has become orphan.
Jazakumullah. It is now time for Salatul Maghrib, so we will proceed to the Green Hall for prayer. After iftar, a reminder, we will have a'mal of Laylatul Qadr briefly, and then there will be a majlis for Imam Ali alayhi salam in the Urdu language.